A very warm welcome to one and all present here. Namaste. Uh, Again, we all have gathered here today to witness Cubs in Conversation, Episode 5. I would like to extend my hearty welcome to our beloved Chairman, Sir, Dr. M. Srinivasan, our
Thank
Principal Ma'am, Mrs. Nandini Bhatt, all our mentor, and dear Gear Cubs. Our today's participants are Aditi Sriram Rao, Muzammil Pasha, Vyuman Jain, Krishna Ajay Gaurav Kumar, and Tamanna Vishnoi of grade 12. And I request each one of the participants to keep your cameras on throughout the sessions. And for audiences, please mute yourself during the session. And if you have any questions to ask to our participants, you can type it out in the chat box or raise your hands to ask. We will try to give you the chance to ask them the question. Now I request our chairman, sir, to initiate the session.
you, Sudeshna ma'am. It's really very nice. Every time we talk to the Cubs, we get something new out. I don't see their faces. Can you all put your camera on, participants? 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. Nice to see your face. Unfortunately, on the virtual platform, instead of meeting each other, that's okay. At least we have this technology to interact. Now, what I try to do is each session, I think of a topic in my own mind and we discuss around that so that it becomes enriching for the others also, for you also. Discussing every topic with every group may not be easy, but if you listen to the others, you'll get the point. Today, we'll take up something close to leadership. Who is a leader? What's leadership? What you can do now? Are you doing good? Are you not taking care of it? We'll discuss all those. First and foremost, we'll start with one question. What is your own understanding of leadership? And before understanding leadership, what is your understanding of yourself? Do you know your strength? Do you know your weakness? Do you know how to make use of your strength? Do you know how to overcome your weakness? Are you in action? This is the thing we are going to see first. This is a basic thing for anybody to do anything, including studying. You should know. If it comes to chemistry, I'm like this. If it comes to physics, I'm excited. If it comes to maths, I'm good. So, what do I do for chemistry? That should be your way of working out because nobody is an expert in everything. Your brain is not made that way. Your brain is made to specialize in something that you must be able to guess for yourself and spend more quality time on that. It doesn't mean you neglect everything else. Also, you will become passionate about something around that. If you don't like mathematics, still you can get in the 90s, but you may not like that subject. You may not pursue that subject. So let's see what you've heard of SWOT analysis. How many of you don't know what is SWOT? Aditi seems to be shaking her head. What is SWOT, Aditi?
Well, I've actually seen it in like detective movies. So it's like analysis of everything and all the aspects. I'm not sure what the full form is, but yeah.
Anybody else? Strength, weakness, opportunities, and T. I'm also doubtful now. Is it task?
But it is threat.
Threats. Thank you.
Yeah.
I did not think of threat at all because I don't bother about it. Okay. So you may not look at this at this age. but you should know what it is. These are all ideas condensed from vast experience. When people study, these scholars, they study so many corporations and then they come out with their own theory. So we don't worry about SWOT for you right now, but you should have to master the first two and be slightly aware of the opportunities, because if you want to know about opportunities, you will know. Otherwise, you will not know. And then threats, of course, you don't need to worry about it right now. That comes much later. That becomes when you enter the competitive world, not right now. Okay? Anybody would like to go first? Also, I'll add one point. If you keep thinking about your strength and weakness, you'll become more aware. If you don't think about it, you are not aware. You have to question yourself. You have to dig deep into yourself. In this situation, I did this. What does it reveal? You don't need to tell anybody else. You should have the dialogue with yourself. Then only you improve yourself. Then only you can take help from others. Oh, I'm finding difficult in this area. Who should I talk to? You can go to that person. Okay. Anybody would like to start first? Okay, since Muzammil appears on my left-hand top corner, go ahead first.
So basically, when it comes to leadership, sir, I see it to be a important role, and it's about taking the team together.
No.
With you,
Let's not talk about leadership. Talk about yourself. What is your strength and where do you think you are not that strong?
sir, my strength would be analysis over stuff. So I analyze things. It takes time. The weakness is I take time, but
Okay.
I do it uh, to the point and completely.
See, that's a
Whenever
very
I start,
important point about this taking time. Though exams are conducted within a prescribed time, that's no way of judging a child. Because except in war, you have all the time to do what you want to do. Like you want to invent something. Does somebody prescribe time to you? You want to develop a product. You want to master something. You want to practice music. No time. You want to draw something. But when it comes to exam, you have to recollect an answer within that given time, which is not very fair. We are continuing with that because we don't have a better alternative as yet. Okay. So you're very strong in analytical thinking. Can you give me one example
so
where?
these
Hmm,
So recently, I have been working on a product for in a company as an intern. So over there, we had a lot of bugs in the program. So I think so. I spent a whole day analyzing the code, running through cases, and then finding a solution for it and fixing the
wonderful,
bugs.
wonderful. So build on that. See, you have done something. You expand that idea. How you did, where you can do better, and for that, what you should know more. So work on that. Good. Yes. Next, who is going next? Tamanna.
So I think my strength is that I work really hard.
Hmm.
If I know what I'm supposed to do, then I do it pretty well. But I think my weakness is that I doubt myself too much,
Mhm.
and that makes me work harder. So,
I think Tamanna, you brought out an interesting point. Doubting oneself within a limit is okay. I have seen some parents who have no faith in the children. Whatever the child says, no, you can't do it. You have never done it. See, they may be genuinely fond of the child, but they don't have the confidence in the child because they keep comparing themselves with the child. So, if you feel that you may not be the best, no harm. And hard work will always enlighten you. Nothing wrong. But keep your self doubt to a limit. And always look for incidences where you doubted yourself and you did better. So, this self doubt is a very big problem if it goes beyond a limit. It's like the bacteria we have in our guts. If that becomes beyond a limit, you fall sick. If you keep it within a limit, you are a healthy person. Is there anybody in this world without any bacteria in their guts, good or bad? No, there's nobody. So everything has to be under control. That's why they call something as normal. You can have this much of alcohol in your body, you are normal. You can have this much of bacteria in your body, you are normal. You can have this much of temperature in your body, it is normal. They're all one level. If it goes beyond that, it is a problem. Even self doubt is the same case. Also, look at incidences of something that made you doubt yourself. Actually speaking, as a child, you should not doubt yourself. You should be in the flow. Everybody is doing, I'm also doing, I'm happy, I'm contributing, I'm discussing, I'm learning. But doubting should be very, very minimal. I don't think it should be a universal quality of children. Since you are slowly changing from a children, you are an young adult, you'll become an adult, it's okay. But children of young age, let's say 9, 10, they should not have doubts. All right? They should just follow themselves. Yeah, who is going next? Yeah, Aditi.
Yeah, so just like Tamanna said, I'm also extremely hardworking and I put in a lot of effort into everything I do. And I also make time for everything I like to do, all my hobbies. But my weakness is that I think too much. Like if someone says something bad about like anything I've done, I'll think, why did they say this? Like what did I do? Like all those kind of things. And I also get extremely panicked and I overwhelm myself with my own thoughts. So yeah, it's you as you said. So like you can doubt yourself, but if you doubt too much, it's bad. I think I do like I go to an extreme in that.
I think, Aditi, you need to work on yourself because uh, doubting and thinking too much about what people say is not going to allow you to be free. You will always think, what will this person say? What will that person say? Are you living for the others or for yourself? Just don't care. You do anything in this world, there'll be somebody who will criticize. Somebody will say, oh, Aditi, you're great. They will be there. It's immaterial what you do. You analyze yourself and understand yourself. Oh, there I have done wrong. I should have done a different way. Sometimes it is not a question of wrong and right. How I could have done better. And the self-doubt or becoming too sensitive, that's what we say. You can't control the world, but you're trying to please the world. No. You cannot please others. Others will be pleased depending on their scale. How will you please contradicting people? See, you have a hairstyle. Somebody will say, Aditi, you look very smart. Somebody will say, what is this hairstyle? How will you reconcile this? You have to decide yourself. It applies to any situation. All right? So reduce your longing for approval. There are some who are interested in you, maybe starting with your parents and close friends. Take their advice. The world, take it analytically, like Muzammil says, analyze. What did he say though? So maybe somebody is jealous, maybe somebody is very negative by themselves. So you don't become a prey to them. It doesn't matter. In fact, all of you should know, even when the situation is very critical and bad, have confidence in you. Nothing is going to go beyond you. Okay? So I think all of you should help each other. All right, let's go to the next. We have 3. Who will go first? Okay, Garo.
Sir, so a strength of mine would be able to follow patterns and logic mostly, which is also why math is my favorite subject because I like remembering patterns or following patterns and logic. And a weakness would be that I'm bad at memorizing stuff that fall out of a pattern, like in chemistry, many reactions and all they fall out of pattern. So that would be my weakness. And also, I think too less. I do actions without thinking of the consequences. So that
Oh,
would be it.
that is a different personality. Taking actions without thinking of the consequence. You should be aware of the consequence and dare it. I don't care whether people say yes or no, but I will do. But you should be aware. If you do without awareness, you may not be able to face the consequences. And it may not be necessary. You're unnecessarily doing it. Regarding your strength, more than memorizing patterns, can you identify patterns? Now you got a series of jobs called data analytics. What do? With the help of a program, they identify patterns. So identifying a pattern is a part of your intelligence. Memorizing is next. Identify. Then you'll become a detective, you become an analyst, you become a creator. So you must be able to see pattern where others don't see. Okay? There is pattern in everything. There is a pattern in every single thing. Are we sensitive to it? That's how we need to work. And today it's a day of data. Data means pattern. Data doesn't mean I got the names and the profession of, let's say, 20 million people. What's the use? After this 20 million, I find out people are about 20 years what they are doing. People about 30 years what are doing. You find a pattern. Then you design a product. You see, now I think cell phone is the in thing, and companies make a lot of money out of it. What is the problem that all the cell phone companies are facing? How will you know? You should start with one. Find the other. And then you'll find a pattern. Find all the airlines. What is the problem? If you find today, they are all losing a lot of money. You know where? Let's take, for example, let's take a tally. Where do you think the airlines are losing maximum money now? A guess. Anybody?
So I have no clue.
Huh?
So I have no clue.
You have no clue. Anybody else? Airlines, they are losing money. Where? Yes, Aditi.
I think during these COVID times, no one, like, travel is like in a standstill. Not many people are doing it, so I think that's how they're losing.
You mean to say they are getting less revenue?
Yeah.
You know, in the question of loss, you have to balance revenue and expenditure. Either the revenue goes down or the expenditure goes up. In the airlines case, the expenditure is going up irrespective of they not flying. You know what is that? When the aeroplane flies, most of its time, they don't pay charges for parking. Okay? When they don't fly, they are parked in some airport. They can't take it home. So there's a meter running. And when you don't take it out for 3 months, you'll become a Malaya. You can't pay. So that is a typical of airline, not cars and taxis. So you'll have to find patterns. And if you make parking free, I think most of the airlines will be fine. And also, if you make parking free, airports will go in loss. If airports go in loss, they'll charge you entrance fee. So there are so many cyclic things. If you understand, you can intervene. In fact, in in Andhra Pradesh called Puttaparthi, they had a plan to create a large area only for parking aircrafts because they were not finding place. So I don't know whether this took off or not. So ideas come up like that. Okay. So Gaurav, you find patterns, also note down. Because what you find today, you may not remember tomorrow. When you go back and see what you found and what is it today, it will be interesting. Okay, good. We have two more left. Yes. Who's going first? Okay, Krishna.
Yes, so I think one of my strengths is that I'm good at decision making, like especially about things that matter to me, like studies. I can make quick decisions in it, so I don't get too stressed out about it. And one of my weaknesses is that it's difficult to convince me. So I will listen to other people's opinions, but I won't follow it unless I'm 100% sure. And that sometimes, ends up in a wrong way because I end up making a lot of mistakes on the way. But yeah, it is very difficult to convince me. That is one of my weaknesses.
I think you see how all their personalities are emerging. You are very clear about what you want to do. You do it. Even somebody says it is wrong. That's a matter of guts. It's good. But over a period of time, you will learn to modify that. And you said one thing that you're good at decision making. Decision making is a very integral part of leadership. How do you make your decisions?
So I prioritize. Like I prioritize what I want to do, and then I plan accordingly how much time I have.
That may not be a typical decision making. Let me ask you a very easy question. What subjects are you studying?
Commerce with
You are
maths.
taking commerce stream. Good. How did you decide to take commerce stream?
I really like maths, and
Okay.
I wanted to start a business since like the very beginning. So I knew that I had to take commerce.
So here it must have been an internal decision without thinking about it. You like maths, I want to do business, so you took these subjects. But sometimes you have to put a data and churn it and see what will happen. Okay? Decision making has to be diligent. It should not be emotional. Many a times we make emotional decisions. That lands us in trouble. Diligent decision means you work on data, you work on incidences, you work on examples, you work on history, and then you decide. It is more important that you make such decisions where you can't go back. Like you go to an apparel shop and you buy some shirts and something like that. You don't need to worry so much because in 3 months you may change it. If you don't like, you can just chunk it. That decision is different, where you have repetitive action. But supposing you make a decision like what you want to study, what you want to do in the future, you can't keep going forward and backward. You need to be very clear about what is your direction. You have to think far ahead. What I want to achieve by taking this or by doing this. So as things become more and more difficult to repeat, you need to be more and more careful. See, buying a shirt, buying a car, buying a house, and taking a career, they're all more important because as you go up, you can do less often. How many shirts you'll buy in your life? You may not remember the number. How many cars you'll buy in your life? Maybe a few. How many houses will you buy? maybe one or two. How many career path you will take? One. So it becomes more and more important that you take a wise decision. And that wise decision depends on a lot of factors. We will see what could be those factors. Yes, we have got women.
Yes, sir. So I would say my strength would be I'm pretty organized. Like I can think very clearly about what has to be done and how to do it. Like in my mind, I constantly go through scenarios and like how it will change my day, and that helps me think logically. So I'd say that's my strength, and my weakness would be that I my social skills are slightly less developed, I would say. So communicating my ideas to people would take like more time and like, effort. So I'd say that's my weakness.
Women, it's perfectly nice, but one immediate advice would be to plan it on paper, to write your points on the paper, and then see what happens. Okay? See, you are saying you are very organized. That's a very important quality. You need to be organized to do things, including your own studies. If you are not organized, they'll say you are a scattered brain man. And it doesn't help. You look at scientists, how organized they are. You look at almost any successful person, they are very organized. Sometimes they frustrate their assistants. Okay, you don't need to go to that extent, but being organized is very important. Like all of you came out with their strengths, they are all part of a leader. It is not that only so and so is a leader, so and so is not a leader. All these qualities are essential. Let me just add one or two. See, to be a leader in any area, you need knowledge. You need that scholarship. For example, I took the line of aviation. If I want to start an airline, can I just start without any knowledge? What would happen if I do that? The plane would have crashed before taking off. So you need to have knowledge. How do you get that knowledge? You work on it. So first and foremost, any leader or in any person for that matter, to do something, you need scholarship. That's why you study physics, you study mathematics, you study management, you study law, you study so many things. So that you know what has happened in that field before. Scholarship is not just knowing, scholarship is understanding. And you also get this from successful people. There is one person called Nani Palkiwala. He was an expert in tax. The whole country. Tax means you go to him. Even now I know lawyers who specialize in tax matters and they've got such wonderful idea of tax. So they become experts. See, you become a leader and become an expert. Expertise may come out of leadership, or you may be an expert without a declared leadership. For example, when I talked about lawyers, we can call them leaders. We don't need to call them leaders because they only do one thing. They go argue in the court and get cases won. That way they are a leader, but they don't lead other people. They don't lead a movement. They don't lead a kind of an organization. So you can become an expert, but a leader needs that expertise. More expertise you have, more areas you cover, you become a better leader. There's one thing more important right now. What you should do is look at some really world leaders in the field you like to take up and follow them. Just follow them. See their biography. See how they make decisions. See what they do, how they manage. You can take up any field you like, which interests you. For example, if you want to be a humane industrialist, as of today, you should study about Ratan Tata. If you want to do an ethical business, you must study our Narayan Murthy. I'm talking of very successful people. But see the difference. What Ratan Tata does to people is unbelievable. How Infosys established as an ethical company is again unbelievable. Both are great. So, you look at these points and follow them. You may have somebody very close to you, you can also find the same qualities. You also will find people with qualities which you don't appreciate. Oh, this uncle is always like that. He's very crooked. There'll be people, oh, this uncle is great. He does like this. So you observe people, study, and then you have a lot of lessons to learn. You have to learn from people, not only from books. Second comes books. For example, if you read a person called Peter Drucker, he was supposed the guru of management. The whole world, all the people who have done MBA would know him very well. Peter Drucker, he is not alive anymore. There are a few names like Stephen Covey. They all have come out with fantastic research, and you can learn from that. When you read the 7 Habits of Stephen Covey, that is from business people. Successful business people. He has learned all those. He has condensed them into a few points and given in the form of a book. He came out with another habit, 8th habit also. So if you want to see how to run corporations, you can't forget studying them. Like if you go to IIM Ahmedabad, they are known for case studies. Their whole method is case studies. You study a case, understand so many things. The same way, you can do these case studies by studying these people. You just take up, you read. And nowadays, you can even watch videos, maybe available. I had a great hero called Field Marshal Manekshaw. I used to study a lot about what he used to do. Even today, I study about him because I like that area of army and how he managed crisis, how he stood up to problems, what he did when his second in command challenged him. What did he do? He could have told him, you get out, and sacked him. He did not do that. There was a lieutenant general who stopped his order to move troops from our northeastern border to Bangladesh in 1971. His director of operations, one lieutenant general, I don't remember, maybe Gill, he stopped that. Because there was a danger of China attacking us. So you cannot shift troops by aeroplane in one day. Not possible. It will take minimum 7 days. So he did not get angry with him. He got a little upset. He studied the situation, talked to him, talked to the general in Bangladesh, General Jacob, and finally he decided he would move the troops. They moved. But he did not react. I am the boss, you listen to me. He didn't do that. In the army, a general can tell the lieutenant general to go for a walk. There is no way. But he didn't do that. And it was a very, very crucial decision. So, Maybe you will read about somebody who did something in the corporate world. Take your area. You can take doctors, you can take engineers, you can take lawyers, you can take anybody for that matter. Now there are so many professions. You can study about all of them. You can take one person study completely rather than only studying about all of them. If you want to study about, let's say, some of your major brands, you can study. You can definitely study. But study deep. Sometimes we should know more about that person than that person himself or herself. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that much you should know about that person, then that becomes your asset. You can do something in your life. Okay. First is scholarship. Second is, can anybody guess? It is ownership. See, leadership is something that everybody has a definition of it for themselves. There is no one definition in the world. You ask X, he'll give one definition. Ask Y, you give one definition. So you have to see what you understand out of it, and everybody is correct. When I say ownership, you don't take anything as a job. You say it is your, not task, your life. When you're in a company, you should not say the board owns or the shareholders own the company. I do only a job. It will not work. You must have heard of Sundar Pichai or Nadella or all our CEOs. They are all doing a job. But are they doing it like a job? You think it is their company. Most of the great people you see in action, it is not their company. The company is owned by a set of shareholders. In that, there will be some major shareholders. They will be on the board. So they are answerable to a board. And the board depends on these people to deliver. Small company or a big company, the structure is the same. And if you have ownership, you'll always do well. If you think, I don't know, I'm doing a job, I'll do my best. No, it doesn't work like that. It is ownership. It is mine. That ownership doesn't come easily. Like if anybody does a job, including a person, let's say, sweeping the roads in front of your house. If they want to only do the job and get away with a salary, they don't grow in their life, they don't feel satisfied, they don't feel anything. They only keep cribbing, my salary is not enough, my salary is not enough, they are asking me to work hard. Both ways, they'll be only negative and they will have miserable life. But at the same time, there are so many examples of very low level people taking ownership of that area and making sure there's no complaints. There's a lot of creativity. You see how it works. So ownership is something where you put your heart and soul. If you are studying right now, put your heart and soul in the studies. Okay? And then, this is a point which I have not read in many books, but I strongly believe followership. If you want to be a leader, you should be a good follower. This I remember a discussion during my university days also. I stood very strong on that. If you're not a good follower, how would you create a following for yourself? You can't just make an order and then command. It doesn't happen anywhere. You should be able to understand others. How will you understand others? By reading books, you can understand? No. You should be able to realize the role of that person. That means you have to be a good follower. Follower means you should know how to create a team. Creating a team means working with others. Everybody will not be like you. Everybody may not like what you say or what you do. But you can make everybody appreciate your work. There are people who do things others appreciate, they may not agree with that. You understand this? They may not agree with you, but they will appreciate you based on your integrity and intention. So, all these qualities you start noticing now. You can't start doing all this when you take up a job. You'll get very busy in your job, and all those things will not come to you just like that. From today, you start noticing in people. Oh, he is doing that. How is he managing? I'm sure you meet a lot of people doing a lot of things, starting with your parents. You only follow your parents as your parents, but try to see your parents as professionals also. Maybe you meet some doctors. How are they doing their business? Is it only seeing them and then prescribing medicine that makes a doctor? How this doctor is good, how the doctor is not good? You should study. From that, you learn something. My in my life, I learned something from anybody and everybody I met. I learned something from anybody I read about. And I don't mind saying again and again, I learn a lot from all of you. When I look at you, when I see how you think, when I see how you behave, how you ask questions, I learn something. So, learning is the basis for all these things. And there is no one source for that. So, for leadership, you have to keep learning, and you should look at from the view of a follower of your team. Okay. So, if anybody wants to say anything or ask any question? Nobody. And I don't want it to be a class where I keep talking and you keep listening and going. No. You should be able to say something in line with what I said or something different. Absolutely, there is no issue.
Sir, I think I completely agree with you on the points that you mentioned on how to be a good leader, and especially the point where you should lead by example. I think that's very important, and many people don't do that. So, yeah, I really agree with that.
You know, the last point I would like to cover for today is what do you do when you face a crisis? The crises are different kinds. Maybe human relationship crisis, maybe legal crisis, maybe financial crisis, maybe I don't know what crisis it is. There will be a crisis. What is a crisis? Where you are finding it difficult to solve the problems, where your resources are not enough to address the issue. If I have enough money in a bank, I am doing something, there may be no financial crisis. But when I have to pay out $2 million, my bank balance is almost in few thousands, that is a crisis. What do you do in a crisis is very important for anybody in life, because everybody hits a crisis and the gravity of crisis is the same for all. The Prime Minister of India may be worried about what China is doing. The level of crisis is that. For me, I may have a crisis which is of the same dimension. I need not be worried about what China will do, though I would like to know. But who is facing the issue? The Prime Minister. The same way, when I face a crisis, the intensity is the same. So what do? I learn from others. Okay. and certain actions. When there was a terrorist attack on our Uri camp, what did he do? He did something first in the history of India. Why? And how did he do that? So, if you study that, you learn a lot of things. If you see Abdul Kalam, what he did when he was managing our, our first, I think the second nuclear test during Vajpayee time, he was more or less in charge of the whole affair. And if you read what he went through, what he did, and how he managed, that'd be fantastic. You take our space scientists. When our mission to land on moon was successful till the last minute, in the last minute something happened. I saw the director Sivan crying. He was in tears. Our Prime Minister consoled him, patted him on the back, and assured him that things will go all right next time. See the difference of two leaders. One leader feels disappointed. You mean our Prime Minister did not feel disappointed? He did. But he said, okay, this is not the last time. We have come up to 99%. Okay, one more person we will master next time. That's the time you should see the positives of what we did. We landed a satellite almost to perfection, I think in 1/100th of the cost or so. The whole world could not believe that we could land a satellite within that expense. That's a great achievement. So you have to understand the whole thing in one comprehensive manner, not only one, oh, our satellite bust ho gaya. No. How much our people learned? How much you have come up? How many countries are able to crash a satellite on the moon? Take it as a destination. Okay, we went and crashed one. Can anybody else do? How many can do? Maybe 4 countries. That's how you have to look at it. Okay, so in your life, you may face a crisis on a daily basis. You may face a rare crisis. A leader who is composed and is able to kind of sail through a crisis is the leader. If a leader panics, it's finished. A leader should not even think of failure. If failure comes, yes, I know what to do, but I won't look at the failure. That much determined you are, then you will always succeed. So this you learn by studying people. Either you study as it happens, or you study the books about them, or you look at people yourself. I've been following Manekshaw from 1971 war. How many years? Almost 50 years. Even today I read something about him. I met him, fortunately, after 1971 war. I had a chance to ask him one question. If you look at him, it's a different impression. But if you don't have a chance, what to do? Suppose you want to meet him, you can't. You can meet somebody else now, but you can only read about him. So if you combine both, you'll get a lot of ideas. You follow a scientist. You follow an artist. If you follow, let's say, an artist, you'll get a lot of insights. So keep that in mind. You need a live example. You need to collect historical examples and process all in your mind. That's all. So if you go to some MBA school like Indians of Management or Indians of Science, they will tell you the same in more specific words. But I think you can develop the same by the time you want to go there. Okay? How many of you would like to take up a course in any of the IIMs? Now the trend is do something like engineering or IIT or something, but end up in one of the business schools. Maybe Wharton, maybe Harvard, maybe Stanford. Yes, Krishna, tell me.
No, sir, I would like to go to an island.
You would like to go to? I didn't get you. You are muted.
Oh, I would like to go to an island.
Oh, okay, okay. You have to start preparing from now. I'll tell you, don't get disappointed. If you prepare from now, there are two things that can happen. When you go to IIM, you'll already be a leader. You'll be knowing much more than anybody else for your classmates. Okay. Number two, in an unfortunate circumstance where you could not reach there, even then you would have learned most of the things you need to learn. You got the point? That is how you should work. You should say, if I get a chance in IIM will benefit. Not only I will benefit. You should go with that attitude. That means you need to prepare. That means you are becoming a leader as a student. That's all. Good. Anybody has any question? You should get a lot of questions. Otherwise, it becomes again, I'm not very happy talking all the time. I'd be very happy to discuss with you. Yeah, go ahead.
So, what are your strengths and weaknesses?
I think by the time, how long you have been in gear?
I started in 11th, so 2 years.
So I'm very sorry. We wouldn't have had any interaction, unfortunate. But otherwise, let me see. Who are all here who have spent more than 5 years in gear? All of you did not join only in 11th. Did you? Okay. Muzamil Pasha, okay, go ahead.
So I joined it. So I understand from your the speeches and all, like you want to convey a message and you convey it strongly. That's one of your strengths, I can say.
Okay. Priyanshu,
Yes, sir.
tell me, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses?
So yours,
Yeah.
s- I would say that your strengths would be something along the lines of being able to think out of the box in the case of when you're trying to do some problem solving. Weakness, there's nothing that comes to mind immediately, but I really have no clue.
Okay. I have a request to all of you. I would like to know my weakness. If I know about my strength or if I don't know about my strength, it doesn't make a big difference. Or it may not make a difference. But if I know my weakness, I can definitely work on it and I will work on it. So I would like to request all my gear cups to send me a mail if you think, sir, you're doing this, it may not be good, you can do better, this is your weakness. I'll be very happy to accept it and work on it. For your consumption, I would like to say my strength is how I understand the issues of education and how children learn. That is my strength. By talking to you, I can design a lot of things. Okay, I need to do things like, and I keep changing, I keep refining. It is not that what I thought in 1995, I am stuck to it. No. I work on it on a daily basis. My weakness, I will share with you. People say I am arrogant. Some have told me, not children, but my colleagues have told me. that I'm rather arrogant. I thought about it and I decided that I'm not arrogant, but I'm very sure of what I'm saying. And until somebody convinces me based on data, logic, instances, I don't just change my mind. They don't want to do that. You only stick to your point. You come out with your point. If that is good, I'll appreciate. They won't have any point. Simply they say, you should listen to us. I don't like this democracy where if there are five, you should take 1 point from each and put the five and becomes a disaster. No. Take the best points. Junior, senior doesn't matter. So when I say so, definitely, like Muzamil said, I put up my points very strongly. I do. Because I'm convinced of that. But people mistake it as arrogance. I can't help it. I know that. Okay. Yeah, time is running out. Last one question. I would very much like either from any of you or from the audience. Because only questions will lead us somewhere. Everybody is quiet. Did you all have breakfast? You all have energy? Since there is no question, I think we had a good round. Keep thinking about what we discussed. Okay, that is very important. Let's close this round with this idea. Experience is not learning. Experience doesn't lead to learning. Reflection on the experience leads to learning. This, I think, almost all the gear cups know because we keep repeating it. Any experience, like you drive from here to Shimla and come back. If you don't reflect on it, there is no learning. If you reflect on it, there's a lot of learning. So any experience, you think over it. You met somebody new, you met with an accident, you said something you did not mean. Think about all those experiences, you'll be a wiser person. Okay? All the best. I think you all came out with beautiful ideas. Work on yourself, make yourself strong. Things will be very fine. All right? All the best. Over to Sudeshna ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for a very interesting session. I also I really enjoyed the entire direction and dimension of all these discussions. So it was really nice to hear from our gear cubs. As I say, not only the cubs present here, I think for teachers like me, we also get to know a lot of things from our children. So which also helps us growing, and we can also think differently, I feel. So thank you so much for such a wonderful session, sir. So I would finally like to take a goodbye from all of you. I would like to thank sir, all fellow mentors, principal ma'am, participants, and a special mention to the media team. Today's media representative was Anjali Pramod of grade 11. So thanks, Anjali. And another thanks to all audiences, all participants. Thank you so much. Have a very good day.